The only way you're going to get over you as an obstacle is if you have an intervention. A few years ago, if I was in a meeting with a bunch of colleagues and I had this brilliant idea that could solve the problem at hand, I would rerun it a couple of times at least in my mind unless I was absolutely sure that what I was thinking was mind-blowing, and then and only then I was willing to utter it. But by then, either the room would have moved on with another thought, or I just dropped the idea believing that not saying it would not be such a bad thing after all. At least I won't be found out to be an imposter. I don't know how many times I may have missed opportunities by just remaining tight-lipped. So today, as I sit before you, the logic of speaking up makes sense, but it is not what helps us overcome it. Because you can't reason on logic with self-sabotaging thoughts, emotions, and fears. And these exact thoughts, emotions, and fears could be the biggest obstacle to reaching your moment of success. Some call it self-sabotage, while others refer to it as getting in your own way. But it can show up as anything from imposter syndrome to perfectionism, fear of failure, or just subconscious limiting beliefs. And these obstacles do not discriminate. They challenge everyone. So I am going to share with you a simple 5-step process you can do right now if you wanted to stop being your biggest obstacle. But promise me, you will practice it often. You see, we have long written our desires in New Year resolutions, on post-its, in motivation journals, or started a diary for the sake of our goal. And all that is good. But today is the day to make it happen and not get in our own way anymore. So here is the 5-step process. Take a step back. Go left. Grow. Ease up on yourself. And take responsibility. Let's start with take a step back. If you fail to grasp your current behaviors and routines, you'll remain trapped in this repetitive story your mind tells, keeping you stuck in a rut. I personally have long associated myself with the role, the job, the career I was in, so much so that if I even took a month-long break, I started to question my own identity, triggering self-sabotaging thoughts. So I needed to take a step back, see myself after disassociating myself from the 9-to-5 job, and take out time to understand my values, my beliefs, and my identity. A lot of who we are is what is passed down to us from our parents, grandparents, caregivers, and social circles, and often they shape our identity. It is what makes you who you are. How were you parented? What school, both physical and thought schools, you subscribe to? What are your religious beliefs? What makes you emotional and what drives you? Learn about the influences that shape you, and if they're still relevant. This is what I call a behavior detox. Second, go left, not right. We tell ourselves we must be strong, we cannot cry, we cannot expect people to do things for us simply out of love or care. And that is unfortunate because so much of life is about the relationships that we have, particularly for men who feel pressured to maintain a facade of strength and cannot show vulnerability. It begs me to question, are you truly free from fear or are you merely existing in fear? You may think it makes you politically free according to the beliefs and thoughts shared by a certain section of society, but with that, we are just limiting our self-expression and in turn our individualism. Don't let anyone else define masculinity to you, except for yourself. How will you grow if you don't show your emotions? And this brings me to the third step, which is grow. If you aren't willing to change, grow, and learn, very soon your talents and skills will become obsolete. And you must choose. If you're willing to be seen to yourself and to others as someone who does not know everything, this is a major hurdle for most people. So ask yourself, are you ready to release the attachment to being someone who already knows, in exchange for embracing the identity of someone eager to learn? I continuously surround myself with people from diverse communities only for this reason. It gives me an opportunity to acknowledge the differences, learn from those that may not look like me, think like me, or have had experiences like me, and that helps me and my community grow faster. If today you can learn and grow, that is your privilege. So share it, so others can experience this thought and this opportunity too. Ease up on yourself. Don't make what you do be your identity. So stop beating yourself down. There's a beautiful TED talk by an American researcher, Brené Brown, on this, and I will link it below. But if I had to summarize the talk, and if I may, she clearly explains the difference between guilt and shame. She goes on to explain guilt is I did something bad, while shame is I am bad. Shame can be extremely devastating to our self-confidence and our identity. It relates to the negativity of the self instead of the negative behavior that we want to avoid. So be kind to yourself and remember this the next time you talk about yourself. We wouldn't say to someone we love, "You stupid," but very often we say to ourselves and our actions, "Oh, I was just being stupid," or "This is stupid of me." Remember, your actions don't define you. The other way we kick ourselves is when we let the thoughts sit in our head of what others think of me. And that's just fear. And though we all understand logically that nobody cares or is thinking of us, it is difficult to get it out of our heads. And that is normal. Because for centuries our brains have understood rewards and punishments better than any other species on this earth. In this case, the reward of being a good person, a good citizen of the society, and of fitting in. While the punishment plays as if we do not conform to certain standards and norms set by society, family, or peers, we will not be accepted, lose our belonging and validation from society. You see, we create more drama in our heads than there actually is. So simplify. Why be so much in your head when life is outside it just living? Take responsibility. You have to own up to what you're doing. You cannot really move ahead if you don't admit to yourself what you're really up to right now. You know how when people make it big, they always talk about tough times they went through? They'll go on and on about the struggles and how they almost gave up. We're all impressed by the turnaround. I personally love those stories, but here's the kicker. We miss out on how they handled those tough situations, those moments when things were really, really rough. It is often their reactions in those moments that really make the difference in their success. So when the going gets tough for you, how are you going to handle it? Are you going to take accountability for your past and move forward with full force? Or are you going to sulk and blame others for your failure? Only you can change, grow, or let yourself down. If today a friend sitting next to you thinks you're total bullshit, it does not matter to you. You can't, thankfully, hear thoughts. But only when they voice it do you comprehend it. What if they still thought you're total bullshit but said to you, "Oh, you're amazing"? Would that get you angry? Would you react in fury and stop talking to them? No. A big fat no. You wouldn't, because you heard you're amazing and your mind explained it to you that you are valued in your friend's eyes. So unless you let your mind tell you that you are a total bullshit, your day is happy. But why is your mind a driver of you and not the other way around? Think of this. Which is why I suggest only you can break yourself. Only you can control your reality. So start today. Plan your take a step back, go left, grow, ease up on yourself and take responsibility actions and show up for yourself. You don't have to be your biggest obstacle, at least not today, which is why I have this next video to support you in your journey.